Today is probably one of the biggest days for the stock market. It can make or break the stock market. We can either make higher highs, higher lows, and or just determine the overall trend. With that being said, give it a few days after the tariffs are announced, but they're supposed to be getting announced at around 4 o'clock, which is right after market closes. But with that being said, we are kind of green, not really green fully, but we started off with the stock market open. We bounced above VWAP and we've been bouncing or maintaining above VWAP and kind of making some higher highs a little bit, but you never know. The market can shift. As we see with some other days, we can shift upwards, shift downwards, shift upwards, shift downwards. So be very, very careful while trading. Don't be too greedy in this time because we're really volatile. And with that being said, something to look at is some other stocks like TLT, the bond market, and some staples too, just to see because it's kind of moving the opposite. People get out of tech and they get into bonds and staples. So, with that being said, that is one thing to look at while looking for your trade. But some price levels to look at to the upside, I do recommend looking at that 560.6. And if we bounce above that and make a clear break, you can play a little call option. And after that, we can probably get 561.5, 561.4, 562.20, and 563. We can also use these to the downside too. So levels downwards, 559.5, 557.9, 557.5, 556.7, 555.6, and 555.2. Sorry, it's a lot of levels, but these are some levels to look at if you want to play a call or a put on the overall SPY. Do be careful because it is highly volatile and the moves can shift very, very fast and very, very easy. With that being said, how I trade with 10%, and this move downwards was an easy 10% play, and so is the upside play too. Keep that in mind. But with that being said, let's talk about some news, things to look at, and we're going to talk about some other stocks too, especially the delivery numbers on Tesla. But with that being said, the market is looking mixed this morning with some notable pre-market movers. The SPY, the NASDAQ, and the Dow are slightly down as investors digest recent economic data and earning reports. Some key trends and stocks to watch. So interest rate outlook, the latest PCE inflation data came in slightly hotter than expected, which may keep the Fed cautious on rate cuts. Also, we have tech stocks, so big tech stocks like Apple, Microsoft are facing some selling pressure after recent strong rallies. We do have Nvidia looking pretty decent. Keep that in mind. Oil and energy, crude oil prices are rising, benefiting energy stocks like ExxonMobil and Chevron. CBX are benefiting right now. If you guys are in those stocks long term and or just making some short term plays, there's some stocks to look at. Crypto stocks, so Bitcoin is doing a little bit okay. We are at that $85,000 level and we are bouncing upwards. But with that being said, Bitcoin is holding steady above the 70K level with stocks like Coinbase and MicroStrategy seeing increased volume. So keep Microsoft or MSTR, and Coinbase on your radars, and also IBIT. There's also a big money trade with IBIT to the downside. So somebody is playing a put option on IBIT, trying to make some money. I think it was like $1.7 million put options. But with that being said, I think Bitcoin maybe the lowest it can get to is like the $82,000 level. But if we break below that 82,000, keep 75 to 70 on your mind and on your radar. But with that being said, some stocks to watch. So first off is Nvidia. We did make a break upwards, but we are still down 1.7 or 1.3%. Sorry. But with that being said, still holding the AI boom, but some profit taking has occurred after a strong rally. With that being said, we do have some news later on that we're going to be talking about is people buying, I think, $16 billion of NVIDIA chips the first 3 months of 2025. So Chinese companies ordered $16 billion. So this might be bringing the stocks up a little bit, but keep that in mind because I don't know the percentage, but I think it's like 15 to 20% of the revenue comes from China. So that's pretty decent. Next stock to look at is Tesla, seeing more weakness due to some demand concerns, but still in focus. So we did get some decent sales in cars overall, but their sales overall kind of went down. So Tesla stock falls as EV maker suffers worst drop in car sales ever. Everybody knows about the bad news. People are trading in their cars. They're not buying Teslas. But the Model Y did just come out and they're selling those pretty well. So keep that in mind. Next one on the list is Meta. So gearing up for its earnings coming out, which could be a good catalyst. With that being said, you may be wondering, when is the earnings? It is coming out April 30th. So keep that in mind. We might have some volatility up until the earnings, but keep Meta on your mind and on your radar, especially depending on how this tariff thing goes. We might be up to the upside. Next one to look at is Palantir. Palantir has been moving pretty decently today, making that uptrend with NVIDIA. We are up 1.6%, which is good. And I think we can maybe hit that $90 level if we continue this upward trend. But yeah, but with that being said, let's look at some other news. So Tesla sales tumbled 37% in France. That's another downside. So Visa, American Express bidding to win Apple credit card network, sources say. So if they win this, you can see this stock to the upside. And even with this news, you might even see it basically to the upside, but has offered Apple roughly 100 million payment to get tech giant credit card. So that might bring it up. ChatGPT crosses 20 million paid users, which is crazy, and it is poised for record growth. Tesla stock falls as EV maker suffers worst drop in car sales ever. We kind of talked about that a little bit earlier. Let's talk about some other news. Trump to escalate the global trade tensions with new reciprocal tariffs on U.S. trading partners. So we are getting a lot more trading news, but I think we should wait until 4 o'clock to get everything official. But keep in mind that we might get some early news, and that can definitely move the market. BlackBerry. So forecasts are lower annual revenue due to weak demand for cybersecurity services. So you might see BlackBerry to the downside. Right now, we're already down 12%. Tesla stock drops as Q1 deliveries miss Wall Street estimates. We already know about that a little bit. The $16 billion in order. Job openings hit their lowest level. It's not going to load, but we'll wait for that. Rogers Communications stock sinks. Reports of NHL deal analyst downgrade. So you can see this stock to the downside. We're already down 6%. That being said, let's look at some levels so I can get you guys out of here. We already looked at SPY. By the way, comment down below any of the stocks that you guys are currently looking at, especially right now and in the future, and some stocks that you recently invested in for your long-term and or swing trades, and even some day trade plays. You guys can comment that down below. But next stock we're going to be looking at is Apple. So Apple, I think if we continue this upside, we can look at levels like that 224, that 225, and then that 226.6. Keep that in mind. But back down to the downside, I will look at that 222.8. And then down to that VWAP 222.5 right now, 222, and then the lows of 221.8, and then 220.6, and then 219.74 for Apple, just depending on how everything goes. We might even get like an upside, and then maybe when the Euro market closes, we might see the markets to the downside, but keep that in mind. Next one is indeed NVIDIA. We are kind of losing some momentum upwards. With that being said, I do really want to just be patient with this one and see how it goes. We'll kind of make some lower highs. But let's see how it tests the VWAP, because we are kind of testing VWAP soon. If we can bounce below VWAP, we might even see NVIDIA back to the downside. And after it goes back down below VWAP, I'll look at 107.9, and then 107, and then 106.8. And then if we bounce below that 106.8, you could probably play some short options and then get that 105, 103, and then maybe even that 100. But I think we need some bad news to hit below that 100. Tesla, I mean, we do got some bad news, but car sales overall is up, and just Tesla stock is going up a decent amount. Same thing with VWAP. Let's see how it tests VWAP, and if we bounce below VWAP, I will look at that 255.3, 251.2, 250, 248, and then that 244, and then that 240 after that. But with that being said, let me know what stocks you guys are looking at. I try to get more stocks into each video, but thanks for watching the video. Smash the like button, subscribe if you guys are new, and I'll see you guys tomorrow after the tariffs are announced, and we will see how everything is moving. Peace out, guys.